Okay, right, this is, usually I've got a few notes in front of me that I read. There's usually just buzzwords and so forth. I usually just write them a few minutes before I do the podcast. I'm not reading from a speech. Half the stuff doesn't get mentioned. But there's something that's just come up, and I'd like to make a comment upon it, even though I didn't want to talk about them anymore. It's about the EDL and the resignation of Tommy Robinson and Kevin Carroll from the EDL to join the Quilliam Foundation, which is a state-sponsored organisation of ex-Muslim extremists who have renounced extreme Islam, but haven't denounced Islam itself. So here we have ex-right-wing xenophobic nationalist Islamophobes nudging elbows with other people full of hate, or people that claim no longer to be full of hate, but people that would have gladly blown us up on the tube or a bus, but now converted to a moderate form of Islam or whatever you want to call it. But I just think this is an extraordinary piece of news, because up to a few days ago he was being criticised for harassing people online and so forth. He was arrested at a demonstration just down the road a few weeks ago, where the EDL tried to invade Tower Hamlets, but actually couldn't because there was too many police to protect them or prevent them from coming into Tower Hamlets. So what has caused this Damascene conversion? Why is it almost overnight the guy has suddenly changed his mind and then now is denouncing, oh well, there's a lot of extremists and right-wing sort of Nazi people turning up on our marches and so on. Fucking hell, Tommy, you're getting really, really incisive there, you know. You didn't know that was going on. Because obviously the EDL weren't going to go anywhere electorally. They were, but they were a nuisance. They were a street presence. They were a pressure group. They could have gone somewhere. Where, I don't know. Probably to hell, with the rest of them. But they could have gone somewhere. But now they're headless. I think that we can predict that the EDL will now collapse. Probably go into a load of squabbling militant groups. Probably some of them will revert to terrorism. There'll be more mosques burned and everything. Some of them might join the BNP, but I most certainly don't see any of them getting cuddly. There are a lot of them scratching their thick heads at the moment, wondering what the hell's going on. Well, I've been scratching my thick head, and I find it very difficult to. I don't think this has been a Damascene conversion. I think this is a height of cynicism. These Quilliam Foundation have obviously been negotiating with the geezer for weeks because he's going to appear with them. He's going to be part of them. You can't just ring up a thing like that and say, well, hello, can I join? And, I'm Tommy Robinson and I want to join. I'm really sorry for what I've done. I've been a bit out of order. I think I'll want to join you lot and so on. No, this has been carefully planned out, and as far as that, it's exceedingly cynical ploy indeed by everybody involved. The Quilliam Foundation is actually a state thing set up by the Labour Party, the Labour government. It's got lots of money in it, so that could be an incentive. And I think that, Tommy Robinson, why has he done this? Well, an immediate guess a few hours after I heard about it, I think it's a career move. The EDL's going nowhere. He's probably going to end up in jail. If he'd have ended up in jail, and maybe there were 6 months to reflect and then change his mind in jail, then it might have been a bit more, how shall I put it, genuine. Probably unbelievable, but genuine. But in a period of a week or a few days, you have to be a real mug to go for that. But there's plenty of mugs around, and they're called liberals. And I don't think any anarchists, I think that most lefties, I think most people will probably think it's a load of old bollocks. It's just they'll be scratching their heads and wondering why. But we'll work out why in a few days' time. Because he's going to be on the television tonight, and probably Jeremy Paxman grilling him. And he's going to probably end up on Question Time, and he's probably going to end up on some of the sort of Godslop programs on a panel and so on. So I think this is a good career move for him. And the Quilliam Foundation, they're not short of a few bob, and they'll probably have somebody that maybe will even ghostwrite his autobiography. So I think that this is a smart move on his behalf. The other geezer, Kevin Carroll, I think, I don't even know who he is. His name written down on a bit of paper here. Because I don't really know who Tommy Robinson's the only really big fish in the EDL pond. But now the fish is out, and the pond level has shrunk to about that. There's only a few tigglers and minnows swimming around in there. It's going nowhere. But where's Tommy going to go politically? Tommy the traitor, as they're probably calling him now, right? Well, he'll have to go mainstream. He's obviously not going to join the BNP or anything like, unlike some of his followers. He's obviously going to lurch somewhere, I don't know. I don't think the Labour Party would have him. They'd have any trash, but even there, I don't think a mug's enough. But it'd be interested to see what the reactions of the parties are. Conservative Party probably wouldn't want to touch him anyway. I mean, even though they're full of racists and Islamophobes themselves. I think starting a political party will be dead duck. So he's got two choices, really. To become a sort of media pundit and a media darling and so forth, and get quite a bit of money out of appearing on the telly on these shows and everything, Not that I claim there's going to be a Tommy Robinson show, right? Live from Manchester, it's the Tommy Robinson show. No, that's not going to happen. Maybe he might, he's not going to end up as an X Factor judge, but he might end up on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, like in a couple of years' time. But more likely, there's one party that might take him, one party that could promote him, and one party where he could go quite far, even though they say they won't have ex-fascists in it. And it's none other than UKIP. So therefore, the quiet guess, just hours after it's been announced, one, his immediate future lays in the media. He may become a pundit or just a talking head and so on, but you can only sustain that for a while. The Quilliam Foundation would be excellent for that. They're well wadded up and they've got plenty of connections. So that might keep him going for a while. But if he wants to be political, UKIP, I think, are the only people that would be willing to take him in. So it wouldn't be surprised if he was a UKIP member. Although, of course, UKIP are now boasting they're only having really fine people, really intelligent people that they're going to put up for the Euro elections and so on. Special people, talented people. What, like that Jeffrey Bloom? So I think, Jeffrey Bloom, one side of the coin, the middle class twit, and on the other side of the coin, the plebeian twit, Tommy Robinson. So yeah, Tommy, welcome to the real world of politics. And if you really wanted to prove yourself a scumbag, then yeah, don't become a pundit and so on, because really, I don't think you're going to really cut the mustard. Not that I'm saying I'll do a better job, but I just don't think you're going to cut the mustard, son. I think that UKIP is a place for you, and they're welcome to you, actually. So probably the last time I'll talk about Tommy, but we are going to follow his progress. It'll be very interesting to see how many naive people are going to actually go for this. And I say that there are quite a few naive people out there, and they call themselves liberals, not liberal, but just liberals and so on. Yes, I think that's your following, Tommy, amongst the deluded liberals, I can imagine, as I say, Polly Toynbee might be going into orgasms about Redhead at the moment, but in another year's time, maybe Tommy Boy might even join the Labour Party. Why not? UKIP, Labour, Conservative. The world's an oyster for you now, Tommy, right? But remember this, oysters get pulled off of the seabed. They get devoured and then discarded. And that's what's going to happen to you probably. You're going to be devoured and discarded. And no way do we think that your conversion is genuine. It's one of the biggest cons imaginable. So, Tommy, for the time being, all I've got to do is wave bye to you, and we'll see you on television tonight with Jeremy Paxman, and we'll see how well you do there. Bye.